in Africa. I think they are leading, right? They're doing a lot with technology. So we'd also hear how they are doing it in Kenya. But I'll start with Golda because she has been doing a lot of CSO work. And from the little background I have of her, she's also been involved in engaging governments, either on behalf of citizens or whichever way. But we just want to find out whether there are really opportunities, whether there are platforms that enable us to engage our leaders, one at the national level and maybe at the local level. So I'll start with you, Golda.
Engagement is something that I've always felt does not need permission or let me call it, for lack of a better word, opportunity to happen. I always look at citizen participation in national issues as the right of the citizens. And because most leadership in Africa, in Ghana is what we are most familiar with. Most leadership in Africa will do their best to avoid having to deal too much with questions from citizenship. You find yourself more and more needing citizens to be the initiators of that kind of engagement or interaction or participation. I don't know if you can all hear what I'm saying, or should I raise my voice? Yeah. You can hear me. I should raise my voice. But so far you heard what I've said. I hope.
They are saying so.
Yeah, okay, I will start. To summarize what I just said, I was saying that I believe that citizen engagement is something that always has to be initiated by citizens. You will hardly find a country where leadership will go begging citizens to engage them, because it's easier not to have too much, coming from the masses. You prefer to be left with your own, space. So for me, I believe that there is never really an ideal situation where there is enough of citizen engagement. I have not yet seen much, and I've had an opportunity to visit a number of places, and indeed the last place I just came from was Kenya, where the African Development Bank put together a number of leaders from civil society, public office and private organizations for a kind of first-time peer review handled by the African Development Bank on development results. So there were all sorts of countries in Nairobi looking at some of these things. And of course, one of the issues there was about how well the public engages with the leadership. Back to the question that Abigail asked, there are not enough such opportunities or platforms. And referring to the explanation I just gave, that is not surprising. So the question is, what then? It always boils down to what the citizen wants. The citizenship is the power. Without the citizens' votes, there's no way there will be a leadership. That's the first thing you have to bear in mind.
Okay, Golda, I'm sorry to cut you, but before we really delve into, so what next? What can we do? We just want to establish the fact that the platforms are platforms. So let me rest you a bit, okay, and then I'll give them, yes, I'll give each of the rest of the panelists a minute to share your own reflections on the topic, on the thing that we are discussing: citizens' participation in governance, public policy, and citizens' participation in governance. So your own reflections, and just in about a minute or a minute and a half.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I will just approach it from a more comparative perspective, because I'm sure there are a lot more people who know much about what's happening over here. What I would say though is that, like she said, most of it is rooted in law and human rights, and because that is what gives the basis or the offspring or the framework for action. Without that in the first place, there's very little that can be done. So I think that if we started from there and we were able to track the mechanisms or the important procedures that are necessary to help us to actually not just promulgate policies that enhance the freedom of expression and the right to information, but the inalienable opportunity to do that without the fear of harassment, without the fear of intimidation. If we are able to start that, if we are able to establish that particular basis of framework, I think that it's going to enhance the communication process more. Because for me, what I think happened in the US was that, there are lots of things that go on in this country, and we claim we have freedom of expression, but there are so many subtle ways in which the government and other institutions tend to suppress people's right to express themselves. If somebody decides that he is part of civil society and goes on Occupy Black Staff House demonstration, and the next morning she sees a picture on Daily Post with people talking about a marriage that she is because she's divorced, she has problems. That's why she has gone to join Occupy Black Staff House. And they are giving so much information. I mean, the personalized, ad hominem argument, attacks. You think the person is going to do that? No. So I think that, and these, and we know where these people are coming from, we know what they are doing. So I think that that is the beginning of it.
Sure.
And then we can take it.
Sure.
Sorry, I took more than a minute.
That's okay, yes.